wanted to talk today about laziness. We all know what laziness is. It's something that stops us from accomplishing a lot of our goals. But I want to speak in terms of different forms laziness takes, because it does take different forms. And we don't think of some of these things as the same, but they are. So I think about how these things impact our meditation practice, but really anything we're trying to do that we know we should do that's for our well-being, laziness applies. So I'm going to talk about 3 different kinds of laziness that tend to impact our lives. So the first one is called procrastination, and that's what we typically think of as I don't feel like it. I don't want to get out of bed right now and do chores. I don't want to go sit and meditate. I am lazy. I don't want to work out right now. I'm lazy. I'm procrastinating. I'm going to do it later. Procrastination is the laziness that says, I'm going to do it later. So, and this, in fact, I think this applies to meditation and working out the same way. If we just tell ourselves, well, I'm going to do that later, I'm going to do that when I feel like it, we're probably not going to do it. So in that way, procrastination is a really powerful form of laziness. And it is, again, what we think of when we normally think of laziness. We think of, I'm not going to apply for that promotion now. I'm going to do it later. I don't feel like it right now. So that's the first kind of laziness, procrastination. The second one is called feeling unworthy. And that might sound really heavy at first, but it is just, in terms of meditation, it's, I'm not calm enough to meditate, so I'm not going to try. Which leads us to believe people think that we meditate because we're calm. And that's not true. But it's the laziness of, I'm not going to apply for that promotion because I think I'm not going to get it. I think other people are more qualified than me. It's the laziness of, I'm not going to ask that person out on a date because I think she's too good for me. It's the laziness of, I'm not worthy. I'm not good enough to try. Can't win, might as well not try. That is the laziness of feeling unworthy. It is just giving up before you've even put in any effort. Maybe we don't think of that as laziness, but it's a huge barrier in our lives to things we need to do, or to things that we could do to better ourselves. We think, I'm not good enough for that. Other people are good enough for that, and I'm not. Other people are calm enough to meditate. I'm not. Other people are good enough at sitting still to meditate. I'm not. That is the laziness of feeling unworthy. It's other people can do that and I can't. And especially we tell ourselves that when we're trying to resist temptations. We think, oh, well, I just don't have enough willpower to not have 10 more chips, right? I just don't have enough willpower to not resist that temptation, that thing over there that I really want to do that I know I shouldn't do. I don't have enough willpower. I'm not good enough. That's a form of laziness. I'm not good enough is a form of laziness. The truth is, you are worthy and you are good enough. And we're making excuses. Really, we could say, instead of using the word laziness, we could say these are forms of excuses. And I think we'd be getting to the same place. When we say, I'm not good enough to resist that temptation, what we're doing is being lazy and making excuses. So that's the second kind of laziness, the feeling of unworthiness. And the third kind of laziness is the one that people find this the most counterintuitive. It's called the laziness of busyness. The laziness of busyness. And we don't think of busyness as laziness. And I'm going to explain why this applies. So what I'm talking about when I say the laziness of busyness, is busyness even a word? I don't know. The laziness of being busy. What I'm talking about is when we tell ourselves we don't have time. I want to practice meditation. My life is too active. I don't have time. I don't have time. I want to go work out. My life is too active. I don't have time. I don't have time. I want to have a clean house. Time. That is the laziness of busyness. We tell ourselves we don't have time, and usually it's not true. Usually we do have time for the things we need to do. We do have time to prepare healthy meals. We do have time to go work out. We do have time to sit and meditate for a little while every day. We do have time. The truth is, we just don't want to. We just don't want to, but we're telling ourselves we're busy, and that's because we have so many distractions, so many things. Really, in the modern world, I say the busyness is the internet. No, not the internet, our phones. That is, I'm filling my time. I'm busy because I'm filling my time with nonsense, because I'm filling my time with sitting here like this, right? That is busyness, and it's keeping me from attaining my goals sometimes. It's keeping me from attaining my goals sometimes. So I want to sit in quiet meditation every day, and I'm making myself busy, so I'm not doing it. But I want to. And I want to prepare a majority of my own meals, because I've learned that is a great way to eat healthier, is to just prepare your own meals, make your own food, get as much involved in the process as you can. But I tell myself I don't have time for that. And I want to work out too, and I tell myself I don't have time for that. And it's hard. This might be the hardest form of laziness for us to manage, because the world tells us to keep busy, sort of. I think that relaxation is not really valued in the modern world, at least serious relaxation is not. So that is, a lot of people will sit on the couch and watch TV for a while and then tell themselves they don't have time to meditate. I think a lot of people do that. And that's sort of because TV is really good now, right? It's really enjoyable. And so we use that as our time to relax. And so we're not doing meditation practice. We're not even as often doing creative things as we could be doing, writing or drawing or painting or whatever creative thing you like to do. We're taking our time away from that and keeping ourselves busy with things that maybe aren't as elevating to our spirit as they could be. So really, the laziness of busyness that I'm talking about, it's really just another form of excuse. I don't have time. I wish I had time to meditate. I don't have time. I'm too busy. And so what I want to argue that we can do is just notice when we're making these excuses. Just notice it, because the truth is, bringing attention to it in itself helps us. So we can just, I'm procrastinating. I'm not doing this helpful thing to myself because I'm procrastinating. Or I'm not doing this helpful thing because I'm telling myself stories about how I'm not worthy. I'm telling myself stories. Or I'm telling myself stories about how I'm too busy, about how I have too much going on. I've got too much going on, so I can't do these self-care practices. And I would say our self-care practices take time, but they add so much as far as improving the quality of our lives. So I may not want to take the time to sit in meditation for 10 or 15 or 20 minutes. I may not want to do that today, but I'm going to have a better day if I do it. And I know that. And it's true, sometimes we will recognize, oh, this is one of the forms of laziness affecting me. And we'll still make that decision. Well, I'm gonna let it happen. I'm gonna stay in bed an extra half hour and procrastinate because I feel like it. And I don't want to shame that. And I don't even want to shame, I'm gonna skip my meditation today because I really want to watch Netflix all evening instead. I don't want to shame that either. I do that sometimes. But I do want to say that I want to bring awareness to that. I don't want you to mindlessly make the excuse. I want you to know I'm making an excuse to not do this self-care practice, and that's okay. Because I think a lot of our lives we spend on autopilot, and we're not realizing that we're doing this to ourselves. And if we know it, that's really meaningful and powerful. And just being aware of what's happening helps us a great deal. I really believe that. So that was the 3 kinds of laziness, and I'll list them one more time for you. Procrastination, feeling unworthy, and busyness. 3 kinds of laziness. I would love to think of some more kinds of laziness to add to that, but I don't have any. So if you think of other forms of laziness, let me know in the comments, okay? All right, that's it for today. Thank you very much for watching this video.